Okay, so I'm going to review Dairy Queen by Catherine Gilbert Murdock, and it's the first in a trilogy. It's Dairy Queen, The Off-Season, and then the last one is Front and Center. And I've read this one and The Off-Season, but I haven't read the Front and Center yet, but I do own it. And I'll just read the summary first. When you don't talk, there's a lot of stuff that ends up not getting said. Harsh words indeed, from Brian Nelson of all people. But DJ Schwunk can't help admitting to herself that maybe he's right, because it's obvious that no one is talking about why DJ's best friend Amber isn't so friendly anymore, or why her little brother Curtis never opens his mouth, or why her mom has 2 jobs and a big secret, or why her college football star brothers won't even call home nowadays. And certainly no one is talking about how DJ's dad would go ballistic on her if she tried out for the football team. There's definitely a lot not being said. And that's not even mentioning the many reasons that Brian Nelson is so out of DJ's league. Welcome to the summer that 15-year-old DJ of Red Bend, Wisconsin learns to talk and ends up having an awful lot to say. And I read this book over a year ago. I don't know why I picked it up. I think I just I love the cover, first of all. And I don't know, I was interested. It's called Dairy Queen because her family owns a dairy farm. And so she works there. And it's a funny story. And you can really sympathize with DJ's character. She's very internal. She really doesn't talk very often. And half the time you just want to reach in the book and be like, oh my god, just say something. Just, why are you being so foolish? But it really makes sense, and I guess it doesn't say in the summary, but Brian Nelson, he's from another school district, and he's the quarterback, I think, of their football team, and her dad used to coach football, and her 2 older brothers play, and so his coach says that he needs to go over to the farm to work, to learn some skills, because he's not a team player and everything, and so they start to talk, and then she starts training him for football, and then she's like, well, why don't I just play football? I'm clearly skilled, and there's so many stories, there's subplots. It's not just, oh, girl tries out for a football team. It's so much more than that. And it's a story about parents and children and boyfriends that aren't really boyfriends, but that awkward stage where you don't know what you are, and her relationship with her best friend, which is changing, and which I thought was really well written. I think Catherine Murdock writes a fantastic story. You really identify with DJ. I think everybody can. I think everybody's been that awkward girl with secrets, and it's an emotional story. But if you read this one and you think it's an emotional story, wait until you pick up The Off-Season. It's a doozy. So I'll probably review The Off-Season at some point, but it will have spoilers for this book, and I'll spoil that one in the review because I can't talk about it without talking about the big conflict. But I give it 5 out of 5. I think. If it wasn't a trilogy, I think it would get 4. But because any questions or any feelings that you feel are unresolved in this book, there's going to be other books to deal with them. So, and once I've read all 3, I'll do a whole, how many stars does the whole trilogy get? I'm sure it's going to be 5 out of 5. For the 3rd one, it's fantastic, and I'm sure it's going to be. So, yeah, definitely recommend it, especially for high school girls who feel like they're alone in the world, and you can learn how to talk a lot from this book. So, enjoy!